Hello, I'm Scott Alsop, and in this video we're going to look at how to answer source comparison questions. If you haven't watched my other videos on source comprehension and comprehension in context and usefulness, value and reliability, I strongly suggest that you look at those first, because the skills that you use to answer those questions are very similar to the ones that you're going to need to answer a comparison question. Now, there are really two different types of question that may call for source comparison. The first are those that want you to compare the value of sources, and then those that want you to compare their messages by identifying agreements and disagreements. Answering a question about the value of sources is dealt with in one of my other videos, so click here to take a look at it. To answer questions that call on you to compare source messages, then keep watching this video for my advice. An exam question could ask you to compare two sources, but more likely you'll be asked about what the sources agree on and what they disagree on. Now, whichever way that question is worded, you must always look for evidence on both sides of the argument. Let me repeat that. No matter whether you're being asked how far the sources agree or how far they differ, you must always look for both agreements and disagreements. It's also important to note that these questions are asking you about the content or the message of the sources, not their provenance. You need to identify agreements and disagreements in what they say, not where they come from or who wrote them. Now, just as with usefulness and value questions, it could be worth drawing or at least thinking about a comparative table or chart with similarities on one side and differences on the other. Now let's go back over the golden rules for a comparative question. Firstly, if you're asked to compare sources, your answer must include both similarities and differences between the sources. Secondly, it's well worth drawing up a quick table to ensure you focus your thoughts and your use of evidence in order to ensure you're looking at both sides of the argument. And finally, even though the exact details might be slightly different, the broad issue covered in the sources might actually agree. Remember, a question that is asking you to compare two sources is actually asking you about what they say or the message that they give, not whether they were written by people in the same country or in fact even at the same time.